are going to start the meeting. First off, we're going to have a meeting of the Tulsa International Airport Development Trust. I want to call that special meeting of the trustees of that trust to order. We need to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approve banking services with Commerce Bank.
Yes, approved banking services with Commerce Bank. In January this year, the city of Tulsa sent me an email asking me, do we have plans to move our money out of the city system? And so we had a subsequent phone call with Alexis and I and Christy at the city, and they wanted us to move our money out. So we went ahead and got three bids, and we're recommending that Commerce Bank be awarded the banking services. There's no fees if the balance stays above $40,000, and any money that we decide that doesn't need to be liquid for paying developers and expenses, we're going to put in short-term T-bills. So
good.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
Move of approval, number 3.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we have any old business?
I got one more.
I'm sorry. Approve accounting outsourcing agreement with Regier, Carr, and Monroe.
So in conjunction with our banking services, we need an accountant. And we reached out to Luxa and another firm, whose name escapes me right now, but Regier, Carr, and Monroe, RCM was the only respondent. So
Okay.
their fees are going to be $675 a month. And they'll do all of our reporting, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Good.
yeah.
Move approval number 4. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, do we have any old business? Any new business?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done.
You didn't even have to ask for that.
That was quick. We now move to the combined special meeting and regular meeting of the Tulsa Airports Improvement Trust and the Tulsa Airport Authority. I want to call the combined special meeting to order, and we need to approve the minutes of the meeting of May 9th.
Move approval of those minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, administrative, Ms. Alexis.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, world traveler.
Yeah.
Early morning world traveler.
Well, I ended up coming back from Miami a day early just because of everything going on here, which is good because Sherry, who's down there for the same conference, her flight got canceled yesterday. So she's still there. So I'm glad I'm here. And I really just wanted to kick off things this morning by giving an update on, there's a flag in here, giving an update on where we're at with the checkpoint, because that has been the most disruptive situation that we have faced here in the terminal in a long time. I've been asked, like, does this happen often? I've been here 24 years. I can only think of one time where we had lines as long as we had here at the checkpoint. And that was back when we had to dump a concourse because of a security breach a decade or two ago. And so this is really unprecedented. That's something we've heard TSA say a lot. The fact that we've had 3 of our screening machines, these are the x-ray bag screening machines, not the people screening machines, that have gone down all at the same time, all for different reasons. And because of that, we were operating with 1 pre-check lane and 1 standard screening lane for about 48 hours. Now, TSA had technicians on call. They brought technicians out to troubleshoot. They were flying parts in. They ended up bringing advanced level technicians in. I would say Matt, who's our new federal security director, who is in Oregon, he still hasn't moved to Oklahoma. I mean, he was jumping on calls with the local team here. And we were really, our focus as the airport operator, because we don't have control over the equipment. I offered to let our techs look at it, see how we can help, but they wouldn't let us do that. Our focus was really on maintaining communication internally with our teams and then externally with our customers, just to level set expectations. So to give you an idea, over the course of the 2 days, we had 580 passengers who had to be rebooked on other flights because they missed their flights because of the situation. Now, in perspective, that's about 4.5% of our customers over the 2 days. So while for those 580 customers, I mean, I'm sure they were very frustrated. I can't imagine. But in the grand scheme of things, we were able to get, you know, a vast majority of our customers through the checkpoint and connected to their flights. And the airlines really were trying to be as flexible as they could, waiting for passengers and holding flights as long as they could without causing disruption to their entire network. So yesterday was a good day. We didn't have, the longest wait was early in the morning. It was, I believe, 29 minutes. Yesterday afternoon, we got word that all 5 machines were up and running. Today, we have another machine down. Only 1 out of 5, but it's, you know, it's something that's extremely frustrating. From an airport operator perspective, you know, so we have a lot of questions for TSA, and we've told them, look, we're going to dive deep. Our focus is on getting the checkpoint going and supporting you all while you do that, but this is not okay. We should have backup parts available for all of these machines. They're critical to our operation, especially as a small hub airport. We don't have any other checkpoints to send passengers through for screening. And so from a national policy perspective, I think there need to be some conversations with TSA at their headquarters about how they build continuity into their operation to avoid these kinds of situations in the future. It not only hurts our customers, but it hurts our airport brand.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm hopeful because they have technicians here and they know how sensitive this is, that they're going to resolve this new situation that popped up this morning. But it's something that we are definitely going to be more actively involved in and really ask TSA a lot of questions. Paul asked them for their service agreement with their equipment manufacturer. Like, what are the response standards? Why didn't you have a tech working overnight hours? I mean, questions that, like, for us, when we have major equipment failures, we have teams here working on them until it's resolved. And so we've learned a lot. I think, you know, the wins from my perspective are the communication efforts that took place and the fact that we really did. The TSA officers who are here had a great attitude. They were getting people through as quickly as they could. They did do some hand searches and screenings, you know, to try to supplement it, but it's so slow to hand search. You know, what TSA told me is they have to maintain this sterile level of the concourse as people travel through because they're connecting to airports all over the world based on the screening standards that we have here in the United States. And so I understand all of that, but we just need to really focus on that continuity aspect, and we will going forward. So that's the big news I think I wanted to brief you on.
The one that's down, the new one, is that one that was down before, or is that the 5th one that went down?
Well, and so none of them, these machines are new to Tulsa, in that they were installed, I want to say sometime last summer or late, like in the fall of last year. I don't know that they're new pieces of equipment. I think they may have come from different locations to be installed here. So all they're doing is repairing components of the machines that are here. They're not bringing brand new machines in. And so the one that's down is a lane that has been down before.
It's lane number 3. It's down there.
I will say that this time the press, I think, did a really fair job making it clear that it's not the airport's fault.
Yeah.
The reports I saw both in the paper and on television, they constantly said this is a TSA issue, not an airport.
Yeah.
I really liked your Facebook advisors too. Constant update.
Yeah, our communications team was really focused on pushing the messaging out. Our CX team here in the terminal was out talking with customers. We brought our volunteers in, so we had more people on duty. Our therapy dogs were really critical. We handed out water, and, you know, we just tried to let people know that we're doing everything we can. We had discussions with the airlines about pulling people out of the line based on flight times. That is something we haven't done here for a long time. Yeah. And it causes additional heartburn for those people in line, you know, and then you start having issues with crowd control. And so overall, I think it was handled very well. It's just extremely frustrating that all of that happened at the same time, and all we heard was this is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Staff did a good job in your all.
That's the thing you want to hear though.
What's
Yeah.
the brand
It's
of
never
the
happened
equipment?
before.
Smith's detection,
What's it
yeah.
called?
Smith's detection.
I just want to second your communication on this issue because I had friends who are flying out like this week. And because they saw so much communication, they felt pretty assured that they were going to be okay
Oh, good,
flying out
good. I'm so
tomorrow. So that means a lot.
Yeah, I think, Tuesday afternoon, when things started improving, you know, we had been saying 3 to 4 hours. We had one customer who came super early who was upset that there was no line. Who was very vocal with his, you know, the fact that he was upset. But Paul talked with him, our marketing team responded to his comments because he was on social media complaining about that. But
He didn't miss his flight though.
he didn't miss his flight. And he did ended up complimenting us on social media for our business centers. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we preach predictability so much.
Yeah.
You know, and so when that predictability isn't there, it creates a lot of confusion with our customers.
Yeah. I do have a few other things to talk about. We are in the middle of the peak summer travel season, and our parking lot yesterday had 91 spaces available between the garage and the shuttle lot. That's out of almost 4,000 spaces that we have. And so our parking team opened up our overflow lot, and we actually had cars park in our overflow lot for the first time. Now, as things happen, as flights come in, more spaces open up. And so we don't think that this weekend we'll have a lot of people in the overflow lot, but this is just happening week after week. We did have our first meeting last week with our rental car consultant to begin the discussion about building a con rack. Ultimately, we need that second level of the garage available for customer parking, and then we can move rental car operations to a new location. So that's our long-term goal. But in the interim, you know, having this demand also is presenting some challenges, and so communicating with customers about expectations so that they know where, when they come to the airport, valet parking is still open. And so, you know, we just don't want people to think we're only pushing them to valet. There are other options. So, but
That would open up how many spaces? Rental cars.
500, yeah. Yeah.
Do we have like a communications plan even with Fine, that when we get to a place where we're trying to?
Yeah, so, you know, we talk with Fine quite a bit, and certainly we need Fine here. So we posted last night, it was kind of funny. We posted last night about the overflow parking, and Fine went on and commented on our post about it. And so, you know, we had fun with that. And so we talked about like, how do we respond? And we have fun with that. I think we have a better working relationship with Fine than we've had, you know, in a long time. Yeah. And so Chris Ambergy and I will sometimes exchange texts or calls and just talk about like, do you have spaces? Do you have spaces? You know, just so we kind of know. I think between the two of us, there will always be an option. And talk about predictability. We're always thinking about what's the next thing that we're going to do? What's the contingency to the contingency? And so it's just from a customer perspective, providing that expectation so they know when they come to the airport, I might need to spend 5 minutes looking for a parking space versus pulling right in and finding a spot. So
When a customer pulls in to the lot, let's say to the entry, does it tell them? Well, it would tell them if there weren't any spaces, right?
no. So what we've done is we actually have new signs that we've created that we will close the parking garage entrances and direct people to the overflow lot.
Okay.
If there are spaces in the garage, then a LAS employee will be able to direct customers to those spaces so that they don't have to drive around. Typically, those spaces open up on the 3rd level. So, you know, there's been a lot of discussion, and in fact, in the proposals that we received for parking operators, they talked about the wayfinding or the guidance systems that are available in some lots, which are extremely expensive to install. It was over I mean, it was over $1 million, I think, to put that in. But what we've talked about is just the capacity output. So saying, okay, there's 30 spaces on level 1, there's 60 spaces on level 2, potentially there's something like that that we can do. And so we're looking at
That would be really helpful.
yeah. A couple of other things. Well, have I gone through? I'm gonna start things off with the gold standard, and Frank's gonna kill me. We every quarter, recognize an employee group who goes above and beyond. Our vehicle maintenance group won last quarter, and they suggested and recommended that the engineering team win the gold standard award for the second quarter. And just to highlight a few things, you see Frank here, there's Brian Oscar, who's our engineering services manager, Mike Kerr, Tom McGann, Nathan is a newer engineer to the team, and then Izzy is also new to the team, but it's a very small team. Together, they, for fiscal year 24 and 25, are managing over $200 million in projects. And so they have a lot on their plates. They are managing all of these different funding sources that come in. And every day I see a new grant opportunity and say, hey, let's apply for this grant, And I think that he wants to just delete those emails. But we love it. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But I mean, we have transformative projects here with the FIS and the air traffic control tower, and our engineering team just does such a great job. And so I just wanted to take a moment at this meeting to recognize our engineering team for the work that they do. We also have a few other things going on. We had the Schlotsky's opening in Cinnabon. So this new location is doing 3 times the revenue that the On Delay restaurant had before. And so happy to have them on board. They have good salads too. I had a salad yesterday. You don't just have to have a sandwich. We had a nice event here in Schwab Hall. I think it kind of opened our eyes to the opportunity we have to host events in the airport terminal. This was for the AOPA You Can Fly Educators Workshop. There was a 3-day event here in Tulsa. It kicked off at the terminal with this dinner. We had the Lieutenant Governor out and recognized that we have 116 schools in Oklahoma teaching this curriculum. So it just is exciting from an airport perspective and an industry workforce pipeline perspective that we're really putting a focus in the state on aviation education. This combined with the Choose Aerospace curriculum, which is really tech focused, is also contributing to the work that we're doing to fill that pipeline. But this was a lot of fun. We did have Bring Your Kid to Work Day. So it was the biggest attended event. 60 kids, 30 of our employees brought their kids or grandkids out. Lots of fun. Lots of requests from airlines to do the same for their employees' kids. So we'll see. We don't do tours typically for younger children anymore. It's important though for our employees' kids to see what their parents do every day. I think it instills a sense of pride in the work that they do. And this was a lot of fun to have them out here. We do have a date set for the air traffic control tower groundbreaking, August 1st at 9 a.m. You'll get an official save the date. I think we've already sent out emails, but just wanted to make sure you have that on your radar. Love using these puns. And other than that, that summarizes the report. I'll turn it over to Burdetta.
Good morning.
Morning.
The slide here, it compares April 24 to April 2023 and the fiscal year to date comparisons. We had a really good month for revenues. They're up 14% over last April and 8% for the year to date. That's about $3 million. It's attributable to landing fees, our gate use fees, our terminal revenue, and our interest income, and our CFC revenue. Expenses were also up 20% when comparing April to April. So the month of April, we had 6 more employees than we did at the same time last year, and we had 3 separations who had some bank time. So the payroll was up a little bit in April as compared to April. We also had got the invoice in for our door reader project, and bought some electrical supplies for RDS, which drove the monthly amount up.
The door reader project also was not a budgeted project because it was a carryover item from 2 fiscal years ago that was a supply chain issue that we just got. So that's another reason.
The year-to-date expenses being up are attributable to parking, utilities, and our repairs, technology. So the net is, we have about 650,000 more than we did the same time last year. The next part, the food and beverage and the gross retail both had great months. The combined additional sales for their fiscal year to date is about $1 million more than they were running last year at the same time. Parking activity was up 4% for the month. It's pretty flat for the year. And the revenues the same, around 5% more than this time last year, and showing a 3% increase for the year to date. I looked, and it's our higher end products that are performing well in the month of April. The valet and the garage were up. The operations at RBS and the fuel flow fees were down, due to the runway closures.
That's the last month though.
Is that the last
well, May, yeah.
We
most of
opened up
May they were open.
like mid-May, yeah.
Yeah. So.
The cargo, we actually had a pretty good month for April, but they're down 7% for the fiscal year to date. In-plane passengers, a great month, 11% over last April. They're running 4% for the fiscal year to date comparison, and 3% above on the calendar year's visual of that. This next slide shows our budget to actual. So revenues are 13% above budget. It's $4.9 million. It's really the same as the actuals, the landing fees, the concessions. Our non-aeronautical ground leases are doing quite well. Parking and ground transportation and interest income interest is like over $1 million over what we've predicted. The expenses are running 3% under budget. So the salaries are about 466 under budget, and that's the medical is under what we had predicted. The materials and supplies are just about 117,000 above budget, and that's our security supplies and baggage supplies. Services are running about 440,000 below budget, and that's our consulting and our technology are running a little slow this year. I think we'll see that pick up as we close out the fiscal year. This next slide shows our total cash position as of April 30th. We have $96.4 million in the bank, or that's 357 days of cash on hand per the airline use and lease agreement calculation. Do you want to bring up that our S&P rating was upgraded slightly in May from A to A+ with a stable outlook? Any questions?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the items. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is approved fiscal year 2024-2025 budget in the amount of $85,150,065. This budget also includes TAIT's rates, fees, and charges, and the parking system management budget, which is included in that $85 million. We presented at last month's board meeting, and we haven't made any changes. So we recommend approval.
Yeah,
Any questions?
No, I appreciate, the individual.
Yeah.
Meetings to go over the budget in detail, so, I would, make a motion to approve the budget for next year. Number 4.
Second time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 4 is approved. Item 5.
Item 5 is accept donation from Blue Streak Equipment Incorporated for one Seeker airbag magnetic sweeper, and one Seeker air drag foreign object debris FOD sweeper in exchange for promotional consideration. So we have a FOD sweeper today that picks up foreign object debris. Our ops agents pull it behind our truck. And this company reached out to us. The Oklahoma Air National Guard actually referred them to us. They had reached out looking for a partner to test their equipment. This company has had a magnetic sweeper for years, but their new FOD sweeper they've just developed. And so they're looking for an airport to evaluate it and provide feedback. And so that's going to be us. This FOD sweeper is different than our current sweeper because it's serviceable. So all of the parts on the sweeper can be replaced as compared to what we have today. If something breaks, we're replacing the whole thing. And so we'll test it out for a year, provide feedback, and they'll use that feedback for their promotional activity.
Good.
Recommend approval of item number 5.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 5 is approved. Item 6.
Item 6 is accept selection and award professional services contract with Pinnacle Business Systems in an amount not to exceed $75,000. So every business function at our airport has a technology component. I sometimes joke that we're a technology company running an airport because of the way things are moving. And things are moving very quickly. As you know, we've brought numerous things for your approval for technology to push our airport forward or replace equipment. And what this master plan will do is similar to our master plan at the airport. What we do with the FAA is Alexis and I met and we said, hey, we have a great technology team, but a lot of times we might be lagging in equipment replacement, or every conference that we go to, there's always something new on the horizon. And sometimes we lag behind that on implementation. So this master plan, this company will come in, they'll do a SWOT analysis, they'll identify kind of what our future and vision look like for the airport here. And then they'll develop a plan for us to follow for the next couple of years, which we can adjust based on budget. But it will give us a good roadmap to not only deploy new technology potentially, but also do really good lifecycle management. So from procurement to installation to retirement and replacement. So it'll just be a good way for us to manage our tech processes moving forward. And I recommend approval of item number 5.
6.
Oh. 6. No, it's 5. It's 6. It's 6.
Number 6. Approval item number 6.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 7.
Item 7 is approve renewal of RVS private hangar insurance group policy with H Chubb in the amount of $30,782 effective July 1st, 2024. And that's represents a 10% increase in the premium. That premium is reimbursed by RVS tenants.
Approval number 7.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Likewise, number 8, approve renewal of aviation general liability policy of insurance with H Chubb effective July 1st, 2024. This is the second year of a renewal, and it's capped at 10%. So the premium is going to be $92,008. The deductible on that is 0, and unless it's an aircraft, and then it's $25,000. For next year will be, this policy premium represents a multi-year policy and will be locked in at a 5% increase.
5%
Next year. Yeah.
Good. Any questions on 8?
Move approval number 8.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 9.
Okay, number 9 is approve employment practices and public officials liability insurance policy with Navigators effective July 1st, 2024 in the amount of $41,543. We've elected to raise the limits from 1 million to 2 million, and that premium represents that increase. Also, we're going to raise our self insured retention from 25,000 to 35,000. Yeah. We're hoping to do multi-year ramp ups until we get to we haven't talked about it yet, but until we get to another number that meets the benchmarks that the other airports.
Yeah,
are.
so Jeff has been benchmarking our insurance coverage to other airports, and this was one where we certainly were below the average by 70%.
Yeah.
And so
On the coverage.
on the coverage, yeah. So instead of doing it all in one fell swoop, we're gonna just start with $1 million and go from there.
Move approval item 9.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10,
Item 10 is the approved workers' compensation insurance policy with Beacon Aviation for 1 year. The premium amount for that is going to be $98,014, and that's 11.2% increase. It's interesting. Our last year's mod was 80.80, and our this year's mod was 0.80. And last year's was 0.88, so we went down, but we've had some claims, so.
11% is, all of these are
Yeah.
11%, 10%.
know.
It's crazy.
The good part, if there is a good part in this, is we're now in a dividend program with the workers' comp, so if we have it's on a sliding scale. So if we have 0 claims next year, and we've got a very good record for workers' comp claims, so 0 is not an impossible number. We could get a 28% premium rebate, and it's a sliding scale based on the loss
how many
ratio.
claims did we have last year?
Well, we've got 3. I'm not exactly, yeah,
Pretty good.
not bad, and we usually have under that, so.
Yeah.
The chances of us getting a premium rebate for this is gonna be very good. So,
Move approval number 10.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 11,
all right, number 11 is approved business auto liability insurance policy with Granite State Insurance for 1 year, effective July 1st. The annual premium for that is $109,749, and that's a 5% decrease from last year. We're insuring about 94 vehicles.
did we change insured? Did we change characters on this? Or-
No, we didn't.
I haven't seen a decrease in insurance anytime recently.
We have fewer cars or fewer vehicles.
Okay, item 11,
Move approval, item 11.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Item 12, property insurance.
Number 12, approved property insurance with AIG Specialty Insurance Company at annual premium not to exceed $624,060, effective July 21st, 2024. The total insured value, you guys remember, we had a property valuation in December, and that's a big factor in how our premiums went this year. In fact, the AIG gave us an $18,000 premium rebate from last year based on our property valuation that we did in December. So this year's premium is going to be $423,000. I'm sorry, the total insured value is going to be $423,264 million. Sorry.
I'll buy this airport.
It's a billion. then.
Yeah.
It's a good investment.
That's a decrease in the replacement value of our property, and last year's premium was $657,650. So we that property valuation
Another
made a
decrease,
big
okay.
difference.
Do we know why our property value went down?
Well, we don't think we had an accurate
Oh,
property valuation prior to the one we did.
Yeah.
That also, once we got that, AIG was finally comfortable with the values because they were looking at those values and saying, wait a minute, something's not right here.
so this may be really an inappropriate question, but with the FIS and the tower, is that gonna raise our property value?
Yes,
Yeah.
the answer to that.
It'll be big time, I'm again.
Yeah.
Short answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, property insurance, and Jeff knows this, it just pains me.
Yeah.
I hate paying for it.
Yeah,
I mean, because when we were under the city self-insured, we didn't have this expense. And so it's just $500,000+ a year to spend on, what ifs, when you haven't had a claim on this policy ever, at least in my time here. It's just a tough pill to swallow. However, we've had record tornado season. We have had tornadoes just to the north towards Bartlesville, just to the east, towards Claremore. So it takes one event, and Jeff
Right.
reminds me of that. And so, when you have $423 million worth of property, the majority of that's focused here at TUL. I mean, one, tornado could cause some significant loss.
Yeah, so one of our issues is we've got a lot of property in a small area.
Right.
So that's one of the issues. If we were spread out all over the city.
Yeah.
It would be much lower.
What is our deductible on that? Yeah.
Deductible for property damage general is 100,000. There's some supplement.
is that total or like per structure or?
Probably
That's-
per event, isn't
That's
it?
Pretty
yeah,
bad.
yeah, per event.
Would it do any good for us to double that?
Double, well, we can try that.
At 100,000 with that kind of value.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get way up there.
Right.
For it to make a dent in the premium.
It's probably true.
So the rate is 14.7 cents per hundred, so.
I play that game every year too.
It doesn't work.
It's, you're either self-insured or,
Right.
I mean, you'll get a little bit, but it's.
We did ask OMAG to give us a bid. OMAG is the company in Oklahoma that insures municipalities, and they wouldn't bid.
Okay.
Move approval of item 12.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item
I
13.
missed the second, sorry.
I do.
Okay, thank you.
13.
Item 13 is accept and approve pending Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics, ODA, Preserving Rural Economic Prosperity PREP grant in the amount of $16 million for the construction of the TUL Air Traffic Control Tower and Base Building. Last year, we received $3.6 million from, at the time, Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, and that went toward funding the design of the tower. And this is going toward the funding of constructing the tower. The management recommend approval of item 13.
I move approval for item 13.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 14.
Item 14 is accept selection and approve award of contract for construction observation services to Leo A. Daly Company in the amount not to exceed $2 million and contingent upon FAA funding or grant funding, again, for the air traffic control tower and base building. Leo A. Daly was selected for design of the tower several years ago. And part of that selection was for them to also provide us a fee for construction observation. They provided a fee. It will be less than $2 million. We are not complete with the negotiations, but I wanted to get this on here, something higher than I anticipate the fee will be, so that within a week or so, we can sign a contract and get them started instead of waiting until July to get it approved.
Yeah.
But the fee will be less than $2 million. How much less at this point, I'm not real sure. But management recommend approval of item 14.
It's a big chunk of money. Observation.
Tell us what they do. They look, watch.
They're gonna oversee the construction. We always have.
Yeah.
Construction
I just had to
observation.
say.
They along with the FAA and all, I mean.
It's just.
The more
Yeah.
standing
Our
order.
representative.
This is just,
Every project has that. And
Right.
Yeah,
this is just
and it's usually
2.6.
redundant too, like more than, because I'm sure your team is watching everything too. Yeah.
Leo Daly will be an extension of our team. We will have a project manager for the airport, but Leo Daly is the one who is going to be taking the brunt of the work.
Right.
Yes.
And they'll have somebody out there on site.
Correct.
All the time.
Right. And they will be monitoring pay requests, change order items, RFI, requests for information and so forth. They will basically be our eyes and ears out there.
Right.
This is only 2.6% of the cost of the tower itself. Now, yeah,
You know, it's still a lot of money.
it is a lot of money, but it's a lot less than what the FAA is charging
Oh,
for
yes.
their service.
Well,
yeah.
we're just here to charge.
That's our new standard. Well, it's less than the
It's
FAA.
less than the FAA, so we're good.
Yeah.
And you think that they really are helpful to you?
Absolutely. We do not have the staff to be able to monitor such a large project. We would need at least one additional person full-time to maintain this, and possibly for this project, 2, maybe 3 people. So.
Right. Okay,
You do it.
move approval, number 14.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.
Item 15 is accept selection approval award contract for professional design services to KSA Engineering Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $110,898 and contingent upon FAA grant funding for the RVS fencing project. Riverside, of course, is not a 139 airport. Where up here we have security fencing and gates that prohibit people without a badge to get through. Down there, anybody who can turn off of the roadway potentially could access runway taxiway and not have any clue as to where they're at or what they're doing. We do have some arms out there, gates to prohibit access, but there are other areas where we still need additional work. And KSA has already performed an assessment and a preliminary design down at Riverside. This will take that assessment and move it into plans and specifications so that we can bid the project, hire a contractor to go out there and actually make it a little bit safer. Management would recommend approval of item 15.
And looking at the preliminary plan, it's rather Byzantine. I mean, I wasn't sure that all of that was necessary, but.
Well, we did ask, part of the preliminary and assessment was to go to the tenants and get their opinion of what we plan on doing or what we are proposing, what the consultant has proposed. And we will evaluate those comments and incorporate what we can or what we need to into the plans and specs itself. So.
Very good.
Move approval, item 15.
All those in favor?
Aye.
16.
Item 16 is accept bids and approve award of contract to Rick Scott Construction Incorporated in the amount of $384,694 for the airfield maintenance and facility improvement project at TUL. We have several buildings on the north side. This project is going to rehabilitate the exterior of several of those buildings. We did receive 4 bids, the highest of which was around $724,000. The engineer's estimate was $680,000, or 56.6% above the lowest responsible bidder. We had 2 bids come in very close to $384,000. We had 2 bids come in very close to $724,000. The consultant reached out to the bidder, the lowest responsible bidder. They were comfortable with their bid. And management recommend approval of item 16. And again, all bonds and so forth go along with this contract.
Okay. Move approval 16.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 17, change orders.
Item 17 is approved change order number 1 with Myers Cherry Construction LLC in the amount of $1,483.50 for the airport terminal vestibule project here at TUL. This additional cost is for additional structural members above the vestibule doors and the departure area. The transition between our existing glass and the glass and the structure of the vestibule was a weak point, and that was not caught in the design. The submittal process did identify, hey, wait a minute, there looks like there's a problem here. The consultant looked at it and said, yes, we need to beef up that structure, that interface. And that's what this does. So far, we're at 0.06% increase over the bid price, and management recommend approval of item 17.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 18.
Item 18 is to approve a sublease agreement with Skylar Petit, DBA Victor Shoeshine, effective July 1st, 2024. So in the past year, we've consolidated the Shoeshine and massage locations over to Concourse A. We've talked with Skylar about actually finding a location that would put her more in the public eye instead of kind of in that cubby. And she's interested in working with us to identify that new location. So this is just to formalize her agreement going forward.
Move approval number 18.
Second.
All those in favor?
Boston doing.
I honestly, other than through Facebook, I haven't seen him lately. I know he was at the courthouse and then he was also at the BOK building, but I think he's just operating from his home now.
Yeah,
So,
he's a great guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
We're here for a long time, so.
Yeah.
Item 19.
Item 19 is to approve acknowledgement consent of a collateral assignment of sublease from Pence Real Estate Holdings to First Oklahoma Bank effective upon closing, but no later than June 15th. This is for Lot 8, Block 7A at the Northeast Tanger Development Area at RVS.
Move approval number 19.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 20 is to approve amendment to temporary sublease agreement with Spartan to relocate and increase tie down space at RVS.
Move approval item 20.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have no executive session. Do we have any new TAIT business?
Nope.
Any TAA business?
No.
Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We is out of here.
9:18.